So like the chest muscles, the shoulders also have 3 directions that we need to target, and we're going to show you how to do this today. So first we're going to talk about the anterior head of the shoulders. This is the front part of the shoulders that most people will put a lot of attention to, and I'm going to make sure that we target this effectively. The first exercise, and I'm sure you already know this, is the dumbbell shoulder press. And I would prefer if you did this one seated. The shoulder press definitely targets the anterior part of the shoulder really effectively, and this is going to be the main focus for most people who are trying to train, especially when it comes to shoulders. And this is something I want to make sure I teach people out there to make sure that this exercise is most effective and also reduce the risk of injuries. When you're doing the shoulder press, you don't want to have the elbows flared out. Saying that, you don't want them to be neutral press. Now, a neutral press grip is really good for people who have shoulder injuries, but what I prefer to make sure we can focus for muscle growth and attacking this anterior part of the shoulder is to twist them slightly in at 45 degrees. When you're pressing this exercise as well, press to the top of your head and the base of your skull. This is going to give you the most shoulder recruitment, but also most stability to be safe. Now, the next exercise that I actually really enjoy to make sure you can target your anterior muscle of your shoulder is going to be the barbell overhead press. But limitations such as flexibility and mobility can limit you from getting the maximum amount of growth. So just like we have done with the barbells and the bench press, we like to use the dumbbells to give you greater range of motion and also control. More range of motion is going to lead to more muscular growth because muscles are now moving in the full range and also getting the full stretch, so you get a better benefit out of it. So the next part that we're going to target is the lateral part of the head, or the lateral delt. Lateral delts, as you can imagine, are going to be effective against exercises working in the lateral plane. The first exercise, and the most common one that's going to be effective for this, is going to be the dumbbell lateral raise. Now, the common mistake that most people do when they do the lateral raise, where it goes too much to the sides where it doesn't really attack the muscle belly. So here are 2 tips to make sure that you can get the most out of your lateral raises. Make sure it's slightly to the front, where you can still see it within your eyesight, but not so much to the front where it turns into a front raise. This is going to definitely put tension more onto your lateral part of your shoulders and be a lot more friendlier to your joints as well. Now, the next tip that I'm going to give you with this exercise is to make sure you can try to finish with your pinkies slightly higher than your thumbs. This is going to focus on putting more tension on your lateral part of your shoulder and making sure that you can actually get the activation of this. When you're doing this exercise, you may have to reduce some weight. That's okay. Over the years that I've done this exercise, it hasn't gotten very heavy, but I have started to recruit and also become more efficient with these exercises so that I can feel the tension on my muscles. Now, like everything out there, you can replace dumbbells with cables with basically everything. And the dumbbell lateral raise is no exception to this rule. You can do the dumbbell lateral raise with a cable, and we'll change the exercise to, and our second exercise for the lateral delts, the cable lateral raise. Now, the cable lateral raise is great because you can get greater range of motion once again, you get a different form of tension and also a form of control. I prefer to do the cable lateral raises because you can start to push out more reps than you can do with just dumbbells. We're using forced reps as well, which is going to be something I'll teach you later on in this channel. So if you haven't already, click subscribe. Now, the last part, and undoubtedly the one that gets the most neglected, is going to be the rear delts. These rear delts are obviously behind us, so a lot of people do tend to miss them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you the 3 exercises that will target these muscles. It gives you a fuller look towards your shoulders, giving you all 3 dimensions being attacked now, not just your front and just your sides. With the rear delts, the first and most common exercise that everyone loves to do is going to be the face pull. Doing this with a cable machine and a rope attachment. When you're doing your face pulls, you want to pull them towards your face and outwards as well. The common mistake that I did when I was doing my face pulls was raise them way too high above my head, where this attacked more my upper traps. So when you're doing your face pulls, pull them towards your collarbones and go outwards from here. This is going to get a greater stretch towards the upper back, but also actually focus on the rear delts as opposed to your rhomboids. The next exercise that you can do that's going to target your rear delts is going to be the dumbbell rear delt fly. And I prefer doing this one seated as well. Having your chest towards your knees, this is going to reduce the amount of swinging. And what we want to do is grab those dumbbells and go sideways, forming a T shape. Keeping your palms facing towards the floor, this is going to keep all the tension on those rear delts. Now the third exercise, of course, is going to be machine based, just to give you some variety. This is going to be the reverse pec deck fly. And this is a great exercise if you can't find your range of motion. Now for me personally, even when I'm doing the face pulls or I'm doing a rear delt dumbbell fly, I do tend to go a little more inwards and not form a strong T shape. This is where machines are great because it's very hard to come off the rails and what the motion that they want you to do. And this is going to be great so you can actually focus on the muscle that you really want to do as well. So don't neglect machines if you have been, and don't neglect your dumbbells and your free weights if you're only using machines as well. But that's for another video, so make sure if you haven't already, check out those videos in the future. With the shoulders, they do tie into quite a bit of the back muscles because of the rear delts being so close towards the rhomboids and the inner traps. So if you want to know how to target your back muscles and giving you a V taper, as well as fixing up your posture too, click or tap this next video over here so you can check it out.